What's up, guys? It is Rick Ginn, and today we are talking all about the smartest route to 250K in wholesaling real estate. And if you're watching this live stream, you go, "Are you kidding me? $250,000?" I'm just telling you, I used to think the same thing. I'm like, dude, just get me to my first grand, get me to my first $3 grand, $5 grand, 10 grand. So what I'm gonna do is give you a play to get all the way up to 250, and it's actually much simpler than you think. You can either row smart or you can row recklessly. So if you've ever had the luxury of rowing a boat with someone and it required two people, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Because some people just like go crazy. Or you ever see the guy or gal in the gym that like doing the rowing machine? My daughter used to row, so I'm not an expert on it, but I understand it. For those of you that do crew, brutal sport. But anyways, the purpose is you want to find the smartest way to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, if you guys are brand new to this channel and you're like, what the heck is talking? Make sure you put your comments in there. Make sure you give me a little bit of love on the like button if you like the material, and make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Smartest way to 250K. I want you to understand the key word here is the smartest. There's a million ways to get to 250K, but what we have to do is break it down mathematically and figure out what is it we need to do to accomplish it. Because if you don't know how to get there, you're never going to get there. So if you don't have a GPS, a compass, or a map, you have no shot. So I see a lot of people in wholesaling, they have no goals. They like, I just want to get a deal. You're going to need more than that to keep pushing along. You've really got to have your why nailed down, because I've already told you wholesaling is not the easiest business. It takes very consistent hard work and action. So these gurus that tell you it's so simple, you just sit on the beach and flip it, it's because you guys are giving them $5,000, $10,000 paychecks and they're sitting on the beach flipping you, probably flipping you off, but it just understand when you do it. So let's talk about the smartest way. So let's just break this down. So if you just focus on getting 20 deals, now don't get me wrong, you got to focus on getting your first, but I'm giving you a vision board so you can, hold on, let me get that off there. So you can focus on how to achieve this. And by the way, 250K, if you, by your second year of wholesaling is in my opinion, a flat out given. Sorry, I'm just telling you, if you do this business after 2 years, if you can't make 250K, we need to look at and see what you're doing. And this this live stream is all about. So 20 deals on average, that gives you $10,000 to $12,000 a deal. I just kind of broke it down in simple math. Everybody agree with that? It doesn't take 100 deals to make 250K. And guys, by the way, if you made 12K a deal, let me do some math here. I think that works out right. Let's see, 250, 12.5. I promise you, you'll have some $40,000, $50,000 bombs in there, and you're going to blow this number out of the water. So 20 deals, 250. So I'm just telling you the path to get there. So many people think they have to do 100 deals and you don't. Nor are you think you're going to flip 5 deals and make 250, because you have to do a different business model to do that. So in order to do that, you have to keep breaking it down each level from this. Okay. Now, today I'm talking about the math and the blueprint so you understand, because a lot of you guys ask, well, how many calls do I have to make? How many appointments do I have to go on? How many contracts I have to write? And you know what? They're actually good questions. I wish somebody went over this in the beginning with me, because it would have helped me understand how much work I have to do. Because the reality is, if you don't know how many leads to get, you don't know how many phone calls to make, you don't know how many contracts to write, and how many deals you need to close, you're just going to randomly get whatever you get. So 20 deals, the next step is going to be the 20 deals, you have to have 40 appointments. Now, this can be virtually, this can be physically, but the appointments are the key. The appointments means they pass the qualification purposes, and we're now going to assess the property and try to get a contract inked. So I look at appointment. So you have to understand the appointments have to be quality. 40 crappy appointments probably won't even cut it. But on average, if you go on 40 appointments, you should be able to get half those. I'm sorry. Like, you've already vetted them, you qualified them. You just have to convince them you can get the job done and get them to sign. That's the challenge of the appointment. So to do that, you're going to have to construct 100 offers. How do I know this? I've been through this gamut so many times. And offers, this is not like an MLS course where you write 3,000 offers. Okay. I teach you how to do it, but I'm just telling you, it's not my favorite way to do wholesaling. It's actually my least favorite way. MLS is very, very hard to negotiate. They have to sit for a long time, and you have to compete with others. So to get to 20 deals, you're gonna have to write 100 offers, and from that, turn that into 40 appointments. And then from there, that should equate you close to 20 deals. Now, keep in mind, your experience level is going to have a huge impact on this. That's why I say say 2 years. I'm the only one who's honest out here about it. Your first year, it's all over the dang board. Honestly, I always tell everyone in your first year, the goal is to strive for 100 grand because you proved to yourself that this is a sustainable business that I can continue to grow. So moving on to the next one, now we got to go the layer below this. So understand it like this, you're going to need 60,000 leads. And I know that sounds completely overwhelming, but it's not. Remember, a lead, you have no idea. It doesn't mean you need 60,000 like people to sell their house. You need 60,000 potential, what we call prospects. So prospects, you can call them leads. Everybody interchanges it. And then from that, it will equate to 20 deals if you consistently work your leads. 60,000 is not nearly what you think it is. So let's break down the list on top of this, okay? Of that 60,000, 10,000 of it, which is less than a third, less than 20%, is going to be your government list. These are going to be your probates, pre-foreclosures, eviction lists, tax delinquencies, fire damage, water shutoffs. 10,000. Well, Rick, 10,000, that's not a lot. I go, the reality is there's only so many people on the government list. You're not getting hundreds of thousands of people on these lists. So if you're in a big metropolitan area, you might be able to get 25,000. But the reality, these lists are typically much smaller. So over like a year's time, if you could combine a 10,000 government list. Now, the only one I probably exclude and keep it outside of this is the tax delinquency, because that's usually a big number. And I would probably count that towards my regular list. So that's the only exclusion I would put on there. Outside of tax delinquency, 10,000 is what you need. And the beauty of these is these are usually much higher quality leads. Yes, you're going to have people that tell you to take a hike. You're going to have people that hang up on you, but I'm telling you, I rather call them the 10,000 government list than a 60,000 paid list all day long. Guys, I've been doing this a long time. I'm just telling you, it's painful to get these lists. It's a lot of work, and most investors won't go through the hoops to get it. Everybody wants stuff delivered on their computer. I want it too, but the people that will take the extra step and get these specialized lists will have a higher rate of success, and they'll get closer to that 250K faster. That's why I've prioritized it on this list. Now, the balance of them, well, I did 60,000 and 10,000. So the only difference is you got to slide tax delinquency up in this list. So this is a total. You can include the 60K and minus off the 10, or you can add it. Just depends on how aggressive you want to be on this. But the 60,000, when we talk about paid lists, we're just talking about listrei.com, Zack Data, or any type of list services you guys use. They're not required to get this done. And then you can use the list filters. You can do high equity owners. You can do vacant. You can do vacant properties. You can do zombie properties. You can do the tired landlord properties. And remember, most of these services, you get 10,000 leads per month. So it doesn't cost you any more to do it. So that's only 6 months, guys. Imagine if you do it 12 months. So you have to keep breaking down these goals. So when we do the lives today, if anybody wants to work with me, is tell me how you're going to attack your list. Now, in the beginning, I get it. We just get started and we go crazy. But after month 3, you're going to have some sort of organization to do this, or you're going to get lost. That's how I felt when I first started. And then once I got a discipline, I go, listen, I'm pulling 10,000 paid lists, and I'm going to pull 500 government lists every month. And I just can, once I got the consistency past 3 months, then I added more stuff to it. But figure out what your flow is and stick to it. The problem is a lot of investors try to do so many things, they stop doing the things that originally worked for them. That's going to be your biggest problem in wholesaling. You can't be doing a million things. You only have so much bandwidth. The reality is most of us are working by ourselves, or we sucked our wife in to do this with us, or we have an amazing business partner who says, hey, absolutely, I'll do this with you, but you're limited in so much you can do. So don't overstretch yourself. You got to have quality leads. So 50 to 60,000 is going to be on the paid list, and then the government list is 10,000. And keep in mind, in my opinion, I'm only giving you like 6 months worth of work here. If you want to double these numbers, you can blow the 250 out of the water. I'm just giving you options. Now, I want you to understand this. If you did 10,000 government lists and you earned 250K off that alone, that means every pulled lead is basically $25 to you. So you guys are like, some people like to break down and go, how much am I making per phone call? I don't like doing that because it's just kind of weird. It's like, I'm not being paid till I find the yes in the phone call, or if it's in the letter or whatever it is. But some people are like, hey, I earn $5 every call I make, or 25, whatever motivates you, do it, because you have to reward your actions to make sure you stay consistent in it. And last but not least, I've taught you guys this, the 3-1-1 rule. And if you don't know what the 3-1-1 rule is, if you don't know what the 311 rule is, let me explain it to you. So it's just basically, where's StreamYard link? I'm not even going to repeat this stuff. The 311 rule is, so if you had X amount of hours in a day, so if you were only going to work 5 hours in your day, and that's what most people do. And when I say work, it's actual work. You're like talking to sellers, you're talking to buyers, and you're working on your business, not doing logos, not opening up LLCs or anything like this. 311 would be what you interact to keep your business running. So the first three would represent your marketing effort. That's pulling your list, that's sorting them, getting the best list, and getting your marketing out there. Because guys, marketing is like blood in your veins. If you don't have it, nothing else works. Acquisitions and dispositions, it doesn't work. In the beginning, you have to spend most of your time on marketing. So if you're just starting out in wholesaling, you're in the right place. What I want you to do is take 3 hours and just go crazy on marketing. Do what I always tell you to do, become a list ninja. Understand your list, play around with the filters, and get them completely dialed in like your life depends on it. That's what I did because I had very limited funds when I started, and back then I had to pay for every list. The average list I pulled was $300 to $500. Now you guys are like listarei.com, 97, 99 bucks a month. You get everything plus comp. It's ridiculous. I didn't tell you what I had to do when I had to comp properties when I started. I had to start with realtors. I had to sit in their office all day. It's the only way you could figure out information was the MLS and public record, and both of them were hard. So 3 hours to marketing. Don't deviate from this, because if you don't get marketing right, you don't have to worry about the rest. The next one is going to be acquisition. And then this is the time you go on like appointments and you physically talk to people to get down to like the negotiations and writing contracts. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but the reality is if the marketing's not there, you just don't have a lot of time in the zone, especially in the beginning. And the last one is going to rep your disposition. And if you spend an hour on dispositions, on selling your properties, and if you don't have a property to sell, you're spending that time building your cash buyers list and getting cash buyer intel. Man, these fish are flying. My God. I get nervous. I'm used to seeing sharks in the water, and I do not like that. So, guys, the StreamYard link is in Wholesaling Houses for Real. You got to be a member of that group. So go on Facebook and make sure you register there. So I know when I'm talking to someone, I know actually who it is.